In 1938, the United States Army Air Corps had a problem. They didn't have enough B-17s. They approached Consolidated Aircraft with a simple request: build more flying fortresses. But Consolidated had a better idea. They proposed a completely new design, one that could fly further, faster, and carry a heavier load. By March 1939, the contract was signed. By the end of that same year, the prototype was already in the air. It was a staggering pace for an aircraft that would eventually change the course of the war. Orders poured in from Britain and France before the U.S. even entered the conflict. When France fell to German occupation, their orders were diverted to the Royal Air Force, who gave the aircraft the name that would stick forever: the Liberator. The B-24 design was a marvel of efficiency, but it wasn't built for comfort. Its Davis wing was high-mounted and narrow, allowing for incredible fuel efficiency and long-range flight. However, the interior was a different story. The bomb racks were positioned in a way that left only a narrow, cramped catwalk for the crew to move between the nose and the tail. If the plane was hit, escaping was a nightmare. This narrow passage, combined with its tendency to catch fire and its difficulty to fly at high altitudes, earned it a dark nickname among its crews: the Flying Coffin. Despite its flaws, it was a workhorse. It was faster than the B-17 and could carry more bombs across greater distances, making it the preferred tool for the vast expanses of the Pacific and the Atlantic. By March 1941, the British were putting the Liberator to work. While it started as a transport, the RAF quickly realized the B-24 was the perfect submarine hunter. To close the Atlantic Gap, the area of the ocean where ships were beyond the reach of air cover, the British created the VLR, or Very Long Range variant. These planes were stripped of their heavy armor and some turrets to make room for massive extra fuel tanks. Operating from both sides of the Atlantic, British and Canadian B-24s became the terror of the German Kriegsmarine. These VLR Liberators were credited with sinking 72 U-boats, effectively winning the Battle of the Atlantic and ensuring that the vital supply lines to Europe remained open. As the war intensified, Consolidated Aircraft was building one B-24 a day, but it wasn't enough. The Allies needed thousands. In April 1941, the Ford Motor Company stepped in. They built Willow Run, the largest assembly line in the world, in a feat of industrial muscle that stunned the globe. Willow Run was a mile long. It turned the production of a complex heavy bomber into an assembly line process usually reserved for cars. At its peak, the factory was churning out one B-24 every 63 minutes. The production was so efficient that crews were often found sleeping on cots outside the factory. As soon as a plane rolled off the line, they would climb in, get their orientation, and take off for the front lines. The B-24's most famous and most dangerous missions were the strikes on the Romanian oil fields at Ploiești. Romania was the primary source of oil for the Nazi war machine, and the Allies were determined to burn it down. In June 1942, American liberators struck for the first time, but it was Operation Tidal Wave in August 1943 that became legendary. 177 B-24s flew at treetop level to avoid radar, flying directly into a wall of German anti-aircraft fire and specialized flak trains. It was one of the costliest missions in history, with 53 aircraft lost and 660 airmen killed. Though the losses were staggering, The mission proved that the B-24 could strike the very heart of the Axis power from bases halfway across the continent. The B-24 wasn't just a bomber, it was a lifeline. By 1942, variants like the C-87 Liberator Express and the C-109 tanker were in full production. These planes traded bomb bays for cargo holds. They became the backbone of the hump missions, flying over the treacherous Himalayan mountains to supply Chinese forces fighting Japanese occupation. Without the C-87 and C-109, the supply situation in China would have been impossible. The aircraft's high-altitude capability and long range allowed it to navigate the world's most dangerous air routes, carrying everything from jet fuel to ammunition. The B-24 was proving to be the most versatile airframe of the entire war. The Liberator's reputation for reliability and range made it the choice for the most important passengers in the world. One specific variant, the LB-30, was converted into a personal transport for British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. He used it to fly across the Atlantic and to various war conferences, trusting the B-24 to carry him safely through contested skies. Later in the war, production was streamlined. By 1944, only Consolidated and Ford continued to manufacture the bombers. This made logistics easier, as standardized replacement parts could finally be stockpiled. Whether it was carrying a prime minister or a load of fuel, the Liberator was the Allied omnipresent aircraft. By the time the guns fell silent, the statistics were breathtaking. A total of 18,482 B-24 Liberators had been built, making it the most produced Allied aircraft in history. It served in every theater of the war, from the frozen Aleutian Islands to the tropical Pacific and the flak-filled skies of Germany. It was used by the Americans, British, Canadians, Australians, and South Africans. It was a plane built by car manufacturers and flown by teenagers. It was cramped, dangerous, and often hated by those who flew it, but it was there when the world needed it most. The B-24 Liberator didn't just bomb the enemy. It outproduced, outranged, and outlasted them. It remains a testament to the industrial might that won World War II.